this is your first time, please just let us know. If you're watching the replay for whatever reason as well, just drop your location as well, and we would welcome you in a special way. So the topic for today was actually something. Precious, welcome from Canada. Thank you so much. So the topic for today was something that I knew that I had to share, because majority of the children they're now on holidays, and I know from my experience as a child psychologist. So I'm also a certified child psychologist. I'm a certified sleep and potty training consultant as well. So from my experience, having to have worked with moms for, I think Mommy Clinic, we started Mommy Clinic over 7 years ago, and I've been working with moms for over 10 years now. We always observe that during the holidays, when our children are on holidays, a lot happens, right? So we hear a lot of abuse going on here and there, because we know from data, abuse would usually some sort of abuse will usually stem from people that our kids are familiar with. It's not people that they do not know. It's from maybe friends, families, siblings. That's where it usually would, uncles, aunties, whatever, maids and all that. And now for some of us that we're also career moms or quite really busy moms as well. This is the time that we need to put our children maybe in summer schools, or leave them at home with people, or maybe we take them to the grandparents' place. And when they're at the grandparents' place as well, the other grandchildren are there. They, other caregivers are also there. So it's our responsibility to ensure. Please share this live with your community as well, on your with your followers. Share it as many places that you can share for moms to join in on this conversation. So a lot of things happen, and what I know why this happens is because many times the children are not empowered. They're not educated. So I will share my own story. I remember that I think I was less than 10 years old. I think I was about 9 years old when I went to one of my cousin's place at that time, right, when I was young. And I remember that and it's a place that I always would love to go, but I know that if I was in my own secured place in my with my family, with my parents, I wouldn't have had such an experience, because it was even out of location of where we were staying. So we went, we traveled down to that location at that time, and I was there with my cousins. And that those cousins of mine were older cousins, so they were minding their own business. So I'm usually home with the the house helps and all that. So but there was a particular neighbor that used to, because she was also a girl, right? She was also, but she was older than I was. Maybe she would probably be 11. She would have been in secondary school at that time, but I was in primary school. So I remember that day vividly, that I went into the toilet to use the toilet. And, she knocked, and, okay, girl to girl, I'm like, okay, girl. So she came into there. I'm like, okay, what exactly are you looking for? And she was like, let's play something. Maybe she just said, let's just play. If you lie down, imagine telling me to lie down in the toilet. If you lie down, then we could, I will touch your body, you touch my body. I'm like, no. So I just left. So what am I telling you, right? If I wasn't informed to know that that type of thing could happen, and that time, this is I'm 40 plus now. This is something that happened to me when I was 9 years old, and at that time, look at those days. It's not like now. We know what is happening now. Hey. And imagine 11, she could not have been more than 11 or 12. Imagine that time. And that young girl was telling another young girl that we could play with our bodies. And I'm like, so, and if I was in my home, it could never have happened to me. But I was put in another environment. I went for holidays. Yes, I had an amazing holiday with my cousins. And why am I saying this? Many of us during these holidays, we're going to, and please, it's not out of fear. Your children need that exposure. They need to, spend time with families. They need to go and spend some fun time with their cousins. But you need to empower and educate your children. And that's why I'm on this call today to tell you how to go about those conversations, what you need to do as a parent. So don't say, oh, I'm going to keep my children to myself. Your children would never learn. They would never know, grow. So we're not raising children out of fear. We're raising children for the future, empowering them to have their own voices and be able to identify when something is not right and when something is going off, right? So that is what informed the life of today, to say, you know what, parents, it's holiday time. You have to enjoy yourself as well, or you have to work as well, but your children will have to also enjoy their holidays as well, but they have to be well informed. So the first, as I've said, we're talking about key tips that you're going to have in mind and be able to empower and educate your children as they start these holidays as well. And it's not even only, let's say, going to family or friend spaces. Some of them will be going to summer schools, new environments. Some of them, they even go to summer schools that's not their school as well. So they're going to get to know new people, and they're going to you don't know where all these people are coming from, different backgrounds, different mindset. So that at least, because we've also observed that during the holidays, some children just pick up bad habits. They will start to do some certain things. Some of them, if you are in the type of country that the place I'm in, if you're not saying, let's say you're not in Nigeria, for example, if your children are in the US, the Canada, the UK, for example, some of them do vape, right? The young children are vaping, like 9, 10. So some children are not doing that before now. When they're exposed to children, they're not doing anything, they're having fun. That's when someone will say, oh, try this, try that. So it's your responsibility to start to call that out, right? Ignorance is not an excuse. And that's what I tell my mommies. No, this world that we're in now, it's our responsibility. You don't have an excuse. There's Google, there's everything. There's so many resources out there. So you can't say, oh, I did not know. For you joining this live today, you now know that it's your responsibility to ensure that your children are safe and happy during this holiday time. So first one, I don't want to waste, take so much of your time. Number one tip is safety. Safety. You are responsible for ensuring that your children are safe. So if you have young children, anything that you are planning, think of their safety first. Like, okay, who is going to be the caregiver? If you're having to go to work and your children, maybe you have to leave your children with the nannies, or they're going to grandparents, relatives, whatever it is, you want to ensure that it's a safe place for your children. You can say, oh, I trust this person, that they would be able to adequately supervise my children. Because with young children, they don't have a voice yet, right? Someone would have to be there to say, oh, this is what you need to do, and we see a lot of things as well. Young children, they can take very harmful substances. They just put it there, in that home. You can't run other people's home for them. You don't know what they do. And even yourself as well. I will know during the holidays as well, children, everybody, parents are like, oh my God, I can't deal. Your children are doing their own thing. Your responsibility to ensure, if you have children less than 5 years old, you have to ensure that wherever you are sitting in your house, or you have nannies, that is the responsibility that you have to educate your nannies. Wherever you are, any children less than 5 years old, wherever that they are playing in your house, you have to be able to see them. You don't have to be there with them, but you have to be able to see them from wherever you're sitting. An adult that is there with your children should be able to see your young children less than 5 to say, oh, this is what Ade is doing. Ade is in, she's playing in the dining area. Oh, Ade, Shegun has gone into the kitchen. Oh, Emmanuel is sitting close to me here. Because that's why you now see some parents post some, at times, I don't want to speak so much on that. When you're posting, oh, maybe your children have, scattered the house, there's, powder, or they've broken all your eggs or something like that. I'm like, seriously, what is the adults doing? Because we know even a minute silence from young children means a lot. And you're not hearing anything from your children in 5 minutes, and you're so cool and, collected with young children. We can only see because we've nothing bad has happened to that child, but many people have lost their child based on that, but they can't come on social media to share it. And that's why we are here to tell you that, please, if you have any young children less than 5, you have to be, ensure that wherever you are sitting at that point, or wherever you are doing whatever, maybe if you're in the kitchen, you can see your child from wherever you are, and that's what you would educate anybody, any caregiver, maybe nanny, house elves, grandma, grandparents, family, friends, whoever is, taking care of your young children at that time, right? So ensure. Then for your older children that would be playing at playgrounds as well, what you also want to do is that educate them, where they see like stones and all that, let them avoid it or be careful, because children, they get carried away. Sorry, excuse me. So children, they get carried away when they're playing, but it's your responsibility to point it out that, you're going to be playing, having fun in, this summer school. But I always think that every summer school should ensure that, it's a safe place to play for the children. But I know in some part of the countries, it's not like that. So please ensure that you educate your children, your older children, about their environment. Let them know that safety is number one. And, the next one is talking to strangers, because many of us will be going to like theme parks, will be going on holidays to some countries as well, even within your country, anywhere that you're going. Educate your children as to, if you get, let's say you can't find me, right? This is what you need to do, right? Let your children know what they need to do, who to call for help. So if you're traveling from somewhere that is so different from where your children they're familiar with, ensure that they know what to do when something off or bad is happening, to them as well. And the next one is health, right? The next point. So the first point is safety. The second point is health. Please, many of you, if your children are not asleep at this time, I think at least, if you are in the UK or in the US, or sorry, not US, let's say Nigeria, African countries, at this time, your children should be in bed. So many of us, we get so carried away. We say, it's holiday. No school runs. You people don't, just have the best of your lives at this point, and you get the children out of their usual routines. Please don't fall for it, because when you destabilize your children's sleep routine, you're going to have to start all over again when they start school, right? So ensure that your children, they're still having enough sleep. Be it holidays or not, your children, especially children less than 10 years old, should be in bed latest 8. If you want to push it and say, it's holiday time, latest 8:30, they should be in bed. They need that rest. And if you're struggling to get your children to sleep, if you're this mom that you're actually struggling, your children are not usually in bed till like 10, 11, 12, then you want to seek help, you can send us a DM, then we can talk about that. But please ensure your children, they're getting enough rest, sleep at this time as well, so that they are healthy. Because now during holidays, some children will be falling ill because you're not ensuring and paying attention on their the health part of things. You're just saying, and we're feeding them with all sorts now, different snacks, different sweeties, everybody's enjoying their lives. Please prioritize your children's rest time and sleep time. Let them get enough rest and sleep. And the next one is ensure physical activities, right? So it's not time to just lock them up in the house and say, please, you people, no, you're not going anywhere, I'm done, I'm tired. Or just because you're busy, maybe some of us were working from home as well, Yes, we know, but we do take breaks, right, from work, even if it's 30 minutes. Ensure that you take your children, even if they're even at home. Not that you say they should sit down on their screens watching TVs and all that. Ensure that, you know, they are playing, active play. They can play football, there's so many games they can. If you need, we have a free tool that can also help. So you can go to our link in bio after this live. You can go to our link in bio. You see something that we tag like a free scheduling tool, different types of activities your children in age appropriate ways that they can engage in is there as well. So if you're struggling to know what exactly do I need to, you know, keep my children occupied with, even in the four walls of your house, it's there. And that tool is to ensure that you're able to support your children, minimize screen time, because we know that thing is getting the lives of our children now. So please ensure that they engage in physical activity, because it also keeps them, you know, healthy, you know, as well. So, and the next one is digital safety. During the holidays, we tend to give children more time on their screens because you are like, oh my God, I can't deal. I have work to do. I have stuff to do. So what do? We babysit them with screens, TV, tablets, all sorts, videos, YouTube, you know, PlayStations. And for your older children as well, that you would usually schedule, maybe you have some monitoring tools, you let all those out of the bat. Like, oh my God, you guys, I don't know what to keep you occupied with. And the children are there online all day. What you want to ensure is digital safety. Please educate your children. If you see anything, because the more time your children spend on their screens, the more time they start to see all sorts, because children, they can click and press anything, and, you know, they start to get all sorts of, you know, inappropriate, you know, content. Let them know that, please, if you see anything, even with your young children, if you see anything that is not good, they know what is good, they know what is not good, or anything that is, you know, very odd to them, let them know that they can talk to mommy or talk to daddy if they see anything like that. And for your older children, you have to call it out. Please, pornography, we've seen it, data shows it, children 7+ upwards, they're engaging in, you know, watching porn all the time now. Like, they're getting so addicted to pornography. So don't say, oh, my child is too young. Please, that is why you're on this call. Educate. What we're saying is educate. Start to have, you know, build connection with your children so that they can be able to talk to you if they see or hear anything that is off, right? Even for children, let me tell you something that happened very long time ago. That time we're still back in Nigeria, and I took my daughter. That time my daughter was maybe about 2 years old. Then we went to a salon, right? And that salon was a children's salon. It's children's salon that was for children. But what was happening, right? The is it hairdressers that we call them, right? They had like a barbing side as well. So for young children, so they do barb, they cut, and they do make hair for young children. So they were watching, you know, I just came in with my daughter and I saw them full blown pornography movie in the morning, 9 o'clock. Yes, obviously I reported them to the owner of the place, you know, but many times, you know, I usually would sit with my children, you know, with my daughter in the salon. But for some of us, we have older children that you say, oh, they will be fine, right? And you leave them there, and all these people, they're watching all sorts of things, listening to all sorts of whatever it is. That is why you need to educate your children as well, that, you know, if you find yourself in such situation that people are watching, you know, all this X-rated movie, and identify it. If it is they're kissing, they're touching their body, spell it out, because children might not understand what X-rated or what pornography. Some young children, if you see movie that they're kissing each other, they're touching each other's body, tell them to switch it off, or they should call my mommy or my daddy. I want to go home. Spell it out. And it's not only salon. I'm just giving you an example of that. Anywhere that you're going to drop your children of whether cousins, friends place. Let your children know that, especially if those adults are leaving, these children with like other caregivers like nannies and all that, all these nannies and house helps. They want to enjoy their life. They don't care. They don't know anything. Is your responsibility is to tell your children that when you see the certain things, when people are talking to you like this, when somebody is saying this to you, when you go to summer school and somebody is saying, let me see your underwear, let me see your pants, and it goes down to young children. I've worked with thousands of parents, so I know what I'm telling you. So you have to spell it out. Don't say my child is 2 years, 3 years, my child does not know. Just spell it out in age appropriate ways for children very young. Anybody touch your body, touch. You tell mommy, okay, and you ask them when they come back, did anybody touch your body? Did anybody do this to you? And for the older children, it's easier for you to educate them where people, there's no touch area. Nobody should touch you. Nobody should tell you to put your mouth. Your mouth is just for you to talk and eat food. Any other thing, it's not allowed. So, but it's your responsibility to empower and educate your children. So as I was saying, digital safety, please ensure that your children are not spending so much time. That's why I said go to that link in our bio after this call. It's a scheduling tool, free. It's written there, free scheduling tool. Just put your email there and you download it. It has free, we've done it for you, structured routine. But if you just download and you don't use it, you're just wasting your time. You have to download and use it, right? That's where the power is really, because if you don't take actions, then why are you downloading it? So download it. It has a routine. We've created that routine for you, what your children can do from morning till night. Even on holidays, we have at least weekends, so you can use the weekends and adapt it to all the days that, even if they're they're in your house or wherever it is, you can use that scheduling tool to schedule time and the activities that your children should be doing. And also, I think I also shared a video on our Instagram page as well, that and I think it's also on our YouTube page. Is all these resources, they are free for you, right? So you don't have excuse. I've helped you and I've empowered you enough to be able to empower your children. So different activities that you can also occupy your children with to minimize screen time. Your children do not know. Trust me, I'm a child psychologist. I know the impact of too much screens in the lives of our children. We know it's their life, right? That is their future. There's nothing we can do about it. But as far as you can delay the impact on their long-term health, the better for you to to be able to support your children. So ensure that you do not give in to screen and say, oh, because I don't know what to do with my children's time, you just give them the screens. I've empowered you. So download that screen, go and watch all those that YouTube, the link to the you're welcome, I tell you. So the link to the free video on activities you can engage your children with during the holidays, limiting screen time, is also in our link in bio. Go there, go through all the the links in our bio, all the resources that you need to to succeed as a parent is there, right? And the next one is behavior changes. Please, some children during holidays, some children, they now start to go through like anxiety issues, because some of them, depending, you take them to summer schools that they're not familiar with. So when you start to notice a change in your child's behavior, maybe they're too now becoming so loud. Your child that is usually very quiet before is now so loud and so aggressive. You want to take a step back and say, what is going on, right? Why? This is not my child. Something is off. Please do not ignore early signs of stuff like that to say, maybe it's just a face. Trust me, it's a face that can cost you in the long term, right? Or you see a child that is usually very jovial and the child now starts to be withdrawn. You also want to keep, be alert and say why. Talk to your child. Why? What is happening? And seek help on time. Do not overlook all these early signs when you see it. Or they go on holidays, they come back and you see that maybe they go on holidays to spend time with friends or families, and they're back home and you see that your child is not their usual self. Please ask questions, engage your child, not that you start to scream and shout and say, what's all this? What did you do? What happened? Why are you doing this? You want to, really understand the change in that your child's behavior and attitude. Not that you say, why are you behaving like this? What is all this rubbish? Is it because grandma has spoiled you? Is it because this auntie has bought you this, or this uncle has bought you this? You want to ask deeper questions to actually know what is going on with your child. So please be very alert when you see those behavioral changes. And social interactions as well. So during the holidays, conflicts, loads of conflicts, especially for children. Maybe some children also come to your own place to spend time, with your children. So you are now trying to settle conflicts. Somebody is bullying another person. Please do not overlook it. Do not say, oh, just tolerate it. This is how this person be. No, whatever it's not right or appropriate is your responsibility to call it out and resolve it right there and there with your children. If your children are being bullied or they're the ones bullying people, you have to step in and, let them know that this is not right, this is not wrong, this is not right to do. Or maybe some of their friends or cousins come to stay with you, and based on your own values, maybe you see some children cursing, some children are quite aggressive. Address it. Don't say, oh, that is how they've raised that child, because your children are going to pick on that, that way of life as well. Say, okay, this person is getting away with it. And they would also start to, display those type of behaviors. So when you see anything that is not right, please call it out, and most especially educate and empower your children as they're going there, that if they feel bullied, if they feel sad, if they're not happy where they are, let them know what to do. Tell this person to call mommy, and if they have phones, you can tell them, or text me or call me. But we always have to educate our children so that they know what to do when they come across anything that can appear confusing or off, with them, rather than them thinking, okay, maybe this is what it is, or other people there can say, oh, this is the solution to that, right? Let them know what is right and what is wrong. And also, I would come back to that abuse as well. Let your children know that they're not, nobody should tell them, because we've seen it happen, even siblings. They do it with each other. So educate your children that as siblings, that you'll be living at home together for the longest time, for a long period of time. Educate your children, whether young or older, especially young children, because many times they do not know that, if they're playing with each other's body, maybe it is wrong. They do not know. For older children, they know what is right and wrong, but usually all this incest and abuse usually is targeted towards children that do not know. So educate them that, nobody, sister, brother, don't be kissing, don't kiss each other, call it out, don't touch each other and all that. Then when they go to cousins and other places as well, let them know that if this person is saying they should take off their clothes, they should touch their boobies, touch their penis, call it out. It is wrong. Don't allow anybody to play. It's not everybody should play mommy and daddy and all that, right? I know, yes, nowadays, many children spend so much time on their screens, and trust me, they're still practicing all those things. But please, it's your responsibility to call it out. If you have any questions, I will be happy to take your questions. Maybe if we have like 5 minutes to take your questions. But please, at this time, children pick a lot here and there. Please let us do take up our responsibility, empower your children, educate your children, and the Lord would bless all our efforts. But you have to do the work first for God to bless your efforts, and not the other way around, that God will take care of my children when you have not done your responsibility. So please do your responsibility. And if you're having any challenges, or you're struggling with your children, with some behavior, attitudes, with even your teenage children, older children, younger children, please feel free to send us a DM. We're always here to support you, get the best from your children. Mommy life does not have to be lonely. It doesn't have to be endured. It's a long journey, and we choose to enjoy it at Mommy Clinic. So thank you, everyone. I'm not sure if I've seen any questions. Thank you, everyone, for joining. If you have any question, feel free to drop it and I would respond.